Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today, we have a knife from one of my favorite categories, a modern traditional, the Cold Steel Lucky One. As you can clearly see, printed on the blade. I'm very excited to get my hands on one of these. It's one I've been considering getting for a while. I actually didn't even know about it. Making for a couple of years, but it hasn't really grabbed a lot of headlines. One of my readers suggested it in a comment, and then I went to go pick up some knives from Mr. Gear Bear that lives down the road, and he loaned me some stuff. He had one, and I said, hey, can I borrow that too? And he said yes, and I really, really do like it. It has many, many good things going for it, and two things that really annoy the hell out of me that we will get to, but I still really like it. It's pretty cool. As you can see, full carbon fiber construction with an S35 VN steel blade, which is pretty great. And they go for about $65-70. Not bad at all. This is not the only version. There's also a two-blade version that goes for about $70 also, that has this blade and then a serrated blade also. Obviously a little thicker handle. This is not a large knife. Let's get into the full-on specs here. And I will demonstrate that for you with some size comparisons. We have an overall length of 5 3/4 inches, blade length of just 2.5 inches. The blade thickness, very slicey, 0.06, like you'd expect to see in this kind of traditional style knife. Handle thickness, only 0.3 inches, so very thin in that dimension also. And super light at only 0.81 ounces, so well under an ounce. It is a very light, tiny thing, mostly full carbon scales. The only metal you got on it is the blade and the locks, the back spring. Very, very good, very, very light. Let's compare it to some other knives in this sort of category. First off, using my orange roadie today, just to, it's been slumbering in my tennis bag all winter, thought I'd break it out for this. As you can see, the Spyderco roadie, pretty small, and it's not much bigger than that. And look at a couple other modern traditionals. We have the line steel round head, significantly smaller than a round head is, which is not a large knife itself. And the Benchmade proper. It's also significantly smaller than that. And let's look at a more traditional. This is a GEC 78. Again, smaller. There's a theme going here. Let's compare it to a more modern folder that is this same kind of blade length. You have your CRKT Pilar, so about the same length, but obviously much slimmer and smaller than the Pilar. The Pilar is kind of a unique design. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this knife. Quality-wise, it's pretty good. The carbon fiber looks great. There are a few voids in it, but it's not bad. And again, for $65-70, that's not, this isn't especially with S35 VN steel, this isn't a cheap knife, but it's not bad. As I said, you're looking at, what, $55 for a roadie, and this has a lot better materials than a roadie has in it, and it's a little bit bigger. Overall, I do like it. The fit and finish is very good. This is made in Italy. And I'm not sure which Italian company makes it. Kind of unique for Cold Steel. They don't do a whole lot of stuff in Italy. They've done a little bit over the years. But everything is very smooth. Nice little touches, like this pocket clip is recessed. We'll get more into that later. Yeah, I do like the quality of it. Aesthetically, it also looks pretty good, except for one glaring flaw, which is what I'm going to point out as the first of the two things that annoy the hell out of me, is that big giant Lucky One billboard on it is just ridiculous. This is a nice, very sleek, gentleman looking knife, and then you put this looks like something out of a flea market or a knife you'd buy at a smoke shop or something. I hate that. I don't know why it's there. The billboarding on the other side doesn't bother me. Just having the Cold Steel logo and all that, that's fine. If this was just in that small a font, right in that same spot, I wouldn't be whining. But that is huge. I mean, look at that. It's like a third of the blade with this Lucky One thing on it. So I don't care for that much at all. That kind of annoys me. But the blade, I do like the blade a lot. That's the most important thing. S35 VN, that's pretty great and something that you don't see very much in this high quality steel and modern traditional outside of, like the line steel roundhead. I know there are a couple of other S35 modern traditionals, but not at this price by any means. And I do like that, and it is very thin, very slicey. It slices just like you'd expect any, traditional shaped blade to. It's obviously, the usual kind of spear point design. I really do like it. It does cut very well, and it's just thick enough, and just it's fairly beefy for this size. It's definitely not anything you want to do hard duty use with, but this knife, it's a less than 1 ounce little gentleman's pocket knife. You don't expect to do a whole lot with it, but it will do a lot more than you think it can. It is a cold steel, so a lot of it is feels a bit overbuilt for what it needs to be, which is good. So I wouldn't worry about the blade too much. But yeah, it's not a heavy duty blade, but very good slicer, and it's freaking S35 VN, so that's great. We'll go on to the ergonomics. Ergonomically, I think it does carry. Carry in your hand. It fits very well. It is not big, but I have, again, large size gloves, hand, but very skinny fingers. I can't quite get 4 fingers on it, but I'm closer than I thought I'd be from looking at it. And the shape of it does have a lot of contour in here, and maybe those won't hit your fingers right, but they hit mine good. And there's no hot spot from the clip or anything, and yeah, I can almost get 4 fingers on it. It's pretty good. I don't mind it at all. I think the ergonomics are excellent on it for this size. I was really pleasantly surprised when I first picked it up and saw the size of it. I didn't think it was going to work in my hand at all, and it absolutely does. Very, very cool in that regard. The carry, obviously, weighs less than 1 ounce. It's pretty small. It can just drop in the bottom of your pocket, which is how I would prefer to carry it. But that leads me to major complaint number 2. This pocket clip is great. Kind of silly on a knife this small, I think. I'd rather have no pocket clip at all. It does work very well if you're clipping it in that 5th pocket, coin pocket of your jeans. It works superbly for that, so I guess that's probably why they put it there. Maybe that's where they intend for you to carry it. If you carry it there, it works great. And it will carry in your main pocket fine too, but it's so small in a big pocket, I'd rather just take it off and drop it down. To which you may say, well, then take it off and stop complaining. But if you take it off, it's recessed here in the carbon, and you take that off and you have little kind of rough spot where it used to be. That is annoying. I would like the option to remove it without being left with a hole that, definitely is. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's sharp, but it's pretty annoying if you take the pocket clip off. So I took it off and I put it right back on again because it was kind of annoying. Yeah, either don't recess the pocket clip or give us a spacer to put in there. Spoiler alert, I'll say at the end, I do like this enough that I do intend on buying one because it is in my favorite category and it's S35 and it's such a great slicer. If I buy one, I'm probably going to take this clip off and bust out the Dremel and try and turn this clip into a spacer to fill that hole. And if I need a new clip, I'll order one from Cold Steel. But yeah, I just wish it came either with a spacer or just was up a little higher or didn't have the clip at all. I think the clip is kind of silly on a knife this small. But again, does carry well in that 5th pocket. You can still drop it in the body of your pocket, and the clip isn't that annoying. It's less annoying than having that sharp-edged hole there. So, potato, but that clip does need to be there or needs to be changed just slightly, in my opinion. The action on it is pretty good. It feels like a modern folder. It's not as hard to pull as a GEC is. Definitely not in that same category. It does have a nice mid-stop, obviously, as you can see, which is good for safety. Also, I do like that when you close it, you're not hitting on blade. It stops at your finger right there. There's that little bit there that stops it. I do like that. Pretty safe overall deployment. It is as I said, not as hard a spring as like this GEC is that you really have to use the nail nick, but it is a little stiffer than, for instance, the Lion Steel Roundhead. It's definitely a little harder pull than that, which some people don't think the pull on this is too light, so you might like that better. What I do like about it also is that you can still pinch open it. You don't have to use that nail nick all the time. Sometimes the nail nicks are kind of, they annoy me because I like to keep my nails cut pretty thin. So pretty short. But yeah, you can still pinch open it, which is great. So the deployment's really good. Blade steel is really good. The weight is really good. I think the price is pretty good, actually, once I've had one in my hand. And overall, I do very much like it. Enough that I do, as I said, I want to buy one. I probably will. But I hate that billboarding, and I wish something differently was done with the pocket clip, or it just wasn't there, one or the other. But overall, pretty cool knife, and I really do. I'm very glad that Cold Steel makes it. It's not something you'd expect to see from Cold Steel, not only because it's Italian, but because it's like a modern traditional. That's kind of the last thing you'd expect from Cold Steel. They're much more tactical than this. So yeah, great little knife, and one I would like to add to my modern traditional collection. This is a loaner, but I've been carrying it a lot since I've had it, and I really, really do enjoy it. I got to give it back in a few days, and hopefully by the time I give it back, I'll have another one in the mail on the way, because I really, really do like it. Hope you guys have liked this video also. You've enjoyed my review. Kind of a short one, but with these modern traditionals, sometimes there's not as much stuff to talk about as there is with the, with the other stuff. Oh, one last thing I did forget. As being a modern traditional, it is fully modern in that you can take it apart. I did not, because I don't own this one, but yeah, you can fully disassemble and service it, which is super nice. That's even in modern traditionals, that's not always the case. As for instance, the line steel round head, you can't really fully disassemble. You can, but good luck with that. And but the proper you can. Some you can, some you can't in the modern traditional way. The traditionals, nope, they're always pinned together. But yeah, this one you can fully disassemble. So if you want to get one and play with it and tear it apart, once I have my own, I will tear it apart. Maybe I'll do a supplemental video showing what's inside of it. But very cool little knife. Highly recommend it. Just beware that you're going to be stuck with that pocket clip and you're going to have Lucky One on there. So hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Have a good one.